Gonna be Anthony Sorgi.
Yeah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second edition of the PCL Sports Network podcast. I am your fearless leader, Ryan the Great Sullivan, president of WSJP. I am joined today by three of our PCL Sports Network members, starting off on the bottom left corner of your screen, the owner of Chloe Conwell Media, and she just left. What is going on here today?
She can't hear us, man. She can't hear us. Introduce me.
Let's start out on the top right corner.
Yeah.
I have the lead color commentator for St. Joseph's Prep Hockey.
How the mighty have fallen.
St. Joe's Prep's rugby's finest, AJ Farrington. AJ, how we doing? All right, great. And on the bottom left corner of our screen, we have the owner of Chloe Conwell Media. Jesus.
All right, let's.
Yeah,
on the bottom right corner of our screen, we have the man, my co-president of WSJP, the voice of St. Joseph's Prep basketball, St. Joseph's Prep football, the rightful owner of the Ball and Whistle Instagram account, Dominic Schulk.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah,
And
you said
if
there
I
would have
can
been a bunch of
finally
lists
get my
in there.
introduction in, on the bottom left corner of our screen, the owner of Chloe Conwell Media, 350,000 views on the Caleb Lundy interview and counting. Chloe Conwell is here as well. Clap it up, everyone.
Wow.
Good introduction. Better than Mike Livingston, I might add. But we are here today. Another eating stream for myself. We got a good cheeseburger. We got another cheeseburger and fries, just like last week. This might become a theme on the PCLSN pod. But nonetheless, people, how we
It's
doing?
Ryan Hollywood.
Not today. Not today. It's not
Ryan
that
Hollywood?
Maybe during the playoffs.
Oh,
we are
on the prep
today.
to run to the Palestra?
Yeah, maybe we should, Dominic. But anyway, we are here today on the PCLSN pod. I feel like we should just get right into it. But I mean, how's everybody doing? I feel like I should ask that question to start. Everybody doing great?
I'm doing great, Ryan the Great.
Thank you, Dominic. You know, I think we love your profile picture, but I feel like we want to see your beautiful face today.
I don't know if I'd agree with
Well,
that.
I don't know if the people want to see me eating chicken tikka masala.
I don't think the.
I do.
I'm finished now.
Okay, that's good. Anyway, nonetheless, well, if I have to start off the podcast by asking, AJ, why the hell was rugby practicing in the front of the school today near the snow?
You see, that's a great question. So basketball was in the gym, right?
Yeah.
Likely
And
place
then-
for them to be.
Every field ever has ice on it, so we have nowhere else to practice. And someone was in the. I think, if I remember correctly, soccer. Yeah, our list would have started this time. Yeah, so I think soccer was in the gym today. So we had nowhere, and coach was like, "We're not going to cancel practice." So he was like, "We're going to find a space somewhere to practice." So we were out on the blacktop with the snow mound. It was the only space. It wasn't nice, but you know, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. You know, we're going for the state chip this year. We fell one game short last year. We fell one game short 2 years ago. We're gonna get this time. So Sal's not doing that. I can tell you that for free.
Nonetheless, now let's get into the PCLSN topics for today. So starting off, for some reason, my tabs have been deleted. So I'm going to have to work on the fly here.
Ooh.
But we've had some interesting games covered this past weekend. Father Judge, Newman Goretti, just this past weekend as well. So I mean, let's go over the schedule once I can get it pulled up here. I apologize, I'm a terrible host, and it's not loading. I mean, I hope Dom Schulk has some interesting things to say as this gets held up. There we go. All right. So last Friday, January 30th, we had Roman defeating Lansdale Catholic, Archbishop Carroll over Newman Goretti, Devon Prep over St. Joe's Prep, LaSalle over Archbishop Ryan, Father Judge over Conwell Egan, Archbishop Wood over Bonner Prendy, and West Catholic over Cardinal O'Hara. Then on Sunday, February 1st, we have Cardinal O'Hara over Lansdale Catholic, Newman Goretti over Father Judge. Chloe, you were at that game. Archbishop Ryan over Conwell Egan. Wood over Carroll, which definitely one of the biggest games of the weekend, a pretty wide margin. There, Devon Prep over West Catholic. St. Joe's Prep bounces back against LaSalle. Bonner beat Roman by 12 points. A very big game there as well to decide what the PCL is going to look like. Finally, just yesterday, Newman Goretti defeated LaSalle College High School. So a lot happened this weekend, and let's go over it. Let's go. You know what, Chloe, we'll start with you. I mean, over the weekend, obviously some big games you covered. The biggest ones, especially Judge and Newman. I mean, what did you see coming out of the weekend?
Yeah, so Judge and Newman. I mean, Newman obviously took the win. That was a big one for them. London Collins, got 2 back-to-back 3-point shots that, first of all, secured the win. They maintained that throughout. They got that about partway through the third, maintained it through the fourth, which was, big for him. I mean, he's not in the starting lineup typically. So, definitely had something to say about him. Alisson and Jai had a big day, lots of blocks, lots of rebounding for him. It was one of their first games since Carl Arigel confirmed what she was going to be out, and they got the win, and it was a good night for them, which I think is telling. Cody Colson had a good night, and on the Judge side of things, it was still, nevertheless, it wasn't a bad day for Judge. It was a big day for Rocco and Max. Both of them got 17 points apiece, and they were in it the entire game. They maintained the lead for the first half, and then, Newman came back and was able to keep it going. But it was a good game for both of them. I think it was a big one for Newman since losing Munchie. And yeah, I think it's, going to be exciting looking into the postseason to see what happens for both of these teams.
All right. AJ, you're next. What's up? What's going on? Around the PCL. How you feeling?
What game specifically, Ryan?
I mean, we can go over. Maybe I can throw one at you.
Yeah, sure.
Archbishop Wood on Sunday defeated Archbishop Carroll 77-62. One of the biggest talking points of the weekend. I mean, what are you feeling about Wood beating Carroll? I
mean, obviously Wood with the one slip up I guess you would call it a slip up early on in the season against O'Hara. I believe that was. Wood's absolutely the team to beat this year, especially you mentioned earlier with Munchie being out. I don't know if you could honestly beat Wood going through. I mean, they're my favorites to win it all. Just a super talented team. And then I'll talk about as well what the game I was tuned into. Prep's pretty convincing win, I would say, over the bad guys in Winmore a couple days ago. I think first and foremost, I've talked so much, Ryan, about creating shots, right? Prep running a very interesting system. You get multiple looks off of every set, but sometimes the shots aren't falling, right? Sometimes the looks are going to be there. So with your end goal, obviously making runs to the palestra, I think one thing that's going to be really important for the Prep is having a couple guys be able to step up and create their own shot. And we saw star sophomore Julie McKee wasn't even active for the game against us, but Will Esfit's really stepping up, the senior, and just especially in the first half of the game, just really creating his own shot. And I thought that was incredibly vital to the team's success and will be going forward. If you do have guys like him just continue to go on and create for himself, then obviously he's going to draw more attention, especially if you're looking just like a basic man-to-man set, opening up more lanes for other guys to get open shots as well. So I think that was a really great sign for the Prep overall.
Dominic Schulk, you were at the Prep game as well. If you want to touch on that, go ahead. But, I mean, lots of other games around the weekend. What are you feeling coming out of the weekend right now?
Loved to see what the Prep did without Julian McKee. I think it's important to note that kind of Will Lesovitz's success really embodies the rest of the team's success, where it's not like he's necessarily isolating and creating his own shots, but more so when he is making the most of his opportunities, the team is winning. Obviously had second 15-plus point half in the past 3 games, obviously had a massive second half against Carroll and continued to beat the Patriots on the road where they've struggled. But I think his cold streak at the beginning of PCL play where he could not buy a bucket from beyond the arc, and now how he's really been improving in his play is going to be so significant to the Prep going forward. If he's able to capitalize on his opportunities, it means Miles Peterson's able to capitalize on his opportunities. It goes downhill. Justin McKee, Moransky, Hallett, everything starts flowing once he's on one offensively. And it showed at LaSalle without, who many would call the best player on the Prep. They pretty thoroughly dismantled what has been a solid middle of the table team, and the offense especially looked vastly improved.
Yeah. The prep definitely improved, especially coming off that Devon prep loss. I think that's something to note. But
Talk
one
about
thing,
Devin Prep, I mean, talk about a late season surge right there.
yeah. We'll get into them a bit later. But I think a big thing coming out of the weekend was, Bonner over Roman. I watched that game. Shout out our good friend Rare Footage Sports. Getting that game on his.
Dare to be rare.
Dare to be rare indeed, Dominic. I know you are the darest of the rarest,
Absolutely.
as they say. But AJ, are you daring?
Always.
I would say AJ is actually the second most daring in PCLSN. I think I'd put Nick Mash number one actually. He likes to talk up Carol in the group chat.
Yeah.
Well, he's finally gotten to be right, so I'm proud of him.
Yeah, good for him. But nonetheless, I think Bonner over Roman was a big one, especially a 12-point victory. I don't think we were expecting to see that. You look at Corey Francis getting to the rim at will. You saw Cam Jackson, Carroll, Holden. Draining threes, which is what they can do. And, if they didn't have that loss to Wood, you would say maybe they'll win the PCL. And I still think some people do believe that Bonner Prendy can win the PCL. It just kind of depends on what happens at the Palestra, which is obviously different than playing in, some, Bonner or Woods gym. So I think we get obviously looking forward. But in this game, Bonner played great. They scored the basketball easily. Roman looked like they did not have any answer for Bonner Prendy. Corey Francis, as I mentioned, just bodying his way through everyone in the paint. Don't get me wrong, 59 points, pretty respectable. But nonetheless, I think it was a very good performance for Bonner Prendy, and as AJ is, never mind.
He's just having a ball over there.
He's just like
a fun-loving guy, man. What can you say?
Your itty bitty smile, AJ. It's just.
I think to act as with this narrative, acting like Wood is some sort of unbeatable juggernaut. Obviously, are they the front runners? Yes, but last year we had a 12-1 team going into the Palestra. Do you know what happened to them? They got murdered by 25 points by the Father Judge Crusaders, who went on to win the PCL and the state. To act as if Wood, a team who lost to Cardinal O'Hara's team, is this unbeatable juggernaut. I think they're certainly very good. They've beaten they've beaten the best of the best. But to count out any of the top, like Bonner, Roman, Judge, Newman, even Carroll, I think would be ridiculous. I just think it's a lot more open of a field than sort of the Wood dominance narrative and the standings would suggest. I just feel that really goes towards the point you were making about Bonner and how good they looked.
So, Dominic, you actually just led into our next topic. It's just like, who could do it better than Dominic Schalk? Absolutely no one. The first question I have for you all today, and we'll start with AJ because Dominic, already talked about it. Can Archbishop Wood be beaten? They had one loss, and that was the second PCL game to Cardinal O'Hara very early in the season. AJ, can Wood be beaten on the road to the Palestra?
Yeah, Ryan, I think I mentioned it earlier. I think they're absolutely the team to beat this year. Let me just pull up a little something here. But, yeah, I think they're absolutely the front runner so far this year. There's been a lot of turmoil overall in terms of teams, losing some games that maybe you wouldn't expect them to. I feel that they match up probably the best across the PCL. Look at a team like Bonner. Bonner, a very guard-heavy team. Bonner beats a lot of teams with their guard play. You can, if you're Wood, you can match up with them. You can match up with height a little bit as well. I think that they're the most versatile team in the league, and I think they didn't graduate much either, right? Experience goes a very long way, and we've seen some teams like the Prep, for example, have really taken that. I don't know if I'd call it a hit necessarily, but fallen off a little bit because of losing guys. Wood really lost almost no one last year, so you're coming back with a unit very similar to you had previous years, and I think it's that combined with the versatility. I'm not sure if they can be beat. The Palestra is different. It's like you said earlier, Ryan. It's a lot easier to play in I don't know, Ryan's gym compared to there. So obviously we'll have to see that, but I don't know if they can be. I think if I were to pick a team, I think I'd probably see Bonner probably the one to beat them, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, good. Yeah, definitely something
Who
to be
can deal with
noted.
Jaden Jenkins? I think
Chloe?
is the question to ask.
Can anyone take down the Vikings?
Now, I think that to touch on what AJ said a little bit, it is true. They did not graduate many. They have almost an identical team to what they had last season, which, obviously gave them so much time to build up that chemistry and, kind of get used to playing with each other and playing strongly. They've knocked down all the big teams. They've knocked down Bonner. They've knocked down Roman, Judge, what have you. But, those are all regular season games. Anyone could come back. Just looking at the Bonner game, that was a 5-point game. They could have easily come back and gotten that win. And I think once you get to the Palestra and once you get to the postseason, it really is anyone's game. I think Bonner's just as strong of a team as Wood, and I think that goes for, any of these ones that are up here at the top, Newman, Judge. I think that has anyone yet? No, I think someone possibly could, but you need to come into that game with that mentality and the want to get it, I think.
Yeah, I would 100% agree actually with Chloe there. Like, and AJ, I touched on it earlier. AJ said it. Once you get to the Palestra, it's like anybody's game, and I think that anybody could be beaten. We saw Dom. Dom, you mentioned it. The Prep came in with only one loss, and then they had a hard time against Father Judge at the Palestra. So I think that Wood can be beaten. I think that they are probably the toughest matchup in the PCL because at every single position you have a Division I level player, and that's hard to guard. You have Lundy at the guard, you have McAdams as a forward, and you have Jenkins as a center. When you have Division I talent all across the board there, that's hard to take down. And obviously we've seen it. Now I think Wood can be beaten in the set, and obviously we talk about the Palestra, but also their wins not as impressive as you really would think. I mean, they've beaten Roman, they've beaten Bonner. They had to, come back against Roman to win that game. And they've had some games where, it's just been really close when you just don't expect it to. And as we said, when they get to the Palestra, it's going to be interesting. This core group, not at the not at the Palestra last year. And, we've seen teams the Palestra, once they get there, it kind of falls apart. But right now, I just don't see how you can't take Wood to win the PCL. Unless something happens at the end of the season, I think that they are the front runners as of now. Dominic, any last points to touch on before we move on?
Yeah, I agree, obviously, still that they are the front runners. But I think something important to note is just the high variance in the way they play and the margins by which they're winning. I mean, so many of their games have gone down to the wire. I mean, the double overtime game against West Catholic and overtime against Ryan, teams that probably aren't even good, that might not even be good enough to make the Palestra. And then their wins over Roman, Bonner, and even Devin being within 5 points. Like, I just think the variance is really going to take into effect once you get into the playoff environment that the Palestra serves to be. And although obviously you don't have to worry, like the Prep, for example, their one loss was to Judge, and then they ran into Judge in the Palestra. But Wood's not going to have to worry about running into Cardinal O'Hara in the Palestra. But I still think it's worth noting that so many of these teams have played them close, taken them to the brink, that it's not at all ridiculous to say that someone's just going to be able to push through and they could have an off night. I mean, there's nothing stopping it, I feel.
Yeah, 100%. And wouldn't be a PCL Sports Network podcast without a quick icebreaker. Now, as we all know, I've been having cheeseburger and fries for the past 2 PCLSN pods. So, biggest question: what is the best fast food French fry? AJ, we're starting with you.
Five Guys Cajun fries. Five Guys Cajun fries. I'm not accepting anything else.
Dominic. All right, great answer. Chloe.
I like that.
I'm gonna have to take. I would take either McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. I think it's anyone's game there.
Dominic.
Buffalo Wild Wings shoestring fries. They're so good. They're so good.
That's terrible.
Fast food. It's gonna take you fast. It's gonna take you an hour to get it. You gotta
Okay.
Buffalo Wild Wings?
It's a chain restaurant. It's the same difference.
I'm going with
There's nothing fast about it.
AJ is 100% correct.
You finish the game before you finish your food. Don't come out until forever.
Oh, just
AJ's
because we go to the
100%.
bad location in Jersey, man.
They're all bad locations.
They're not good. I'm like,
They'll
what?
take-
I don't know why we're so disrespectful
Yeah,
towards
take.
B-dubs.
AJ's 100% right. Cajun fries are great. Even the regular ones are great.
Yeah.
I think, breaking it down like a basketball game, like just the depth of the fries are just incredible. Like you get so much there. Like the depth of it's just incredible.
I think there's something to be said about the extra fry you get in the bag. Is it tallied in with the total? It might be, but it's just giving you something else there.
Listen,
it's like an extra little. It's like a 4-point play in basketball. Like you already hit the 3-point.
Exactly.
You're getting fouled. You get the foul shot. It's
like you might go home and you feel terrible, but like, isn't that all fast food? Like it doesn't really matter. It doesn't necessarily matter.
Look, it's just different ends to the same mean. Like
Exactly. AJ is 100% right. I don't necessarily agree with. I don't necessarily disagree with the Chick-fil-A one, but I still think Five Guys is better. That's tonight's icebreaker. Maybe next week we'll do best fast food sauce, but that's for next week.
Ooh. Am I invited back?
Get your answers ready. But nonetheless, moving on. As we all know, Chloe, we were talking about Newman Goretti and their win. Their win over Father Judge. That was a big win for them. But they've been without Munchie Wright, and we don't necessarily know if he's returning, and if he is, when, or if he's just out for the season. There's not really much known. Seems like everything's up in the air. But how far can Newman Goretti go in the playoffs if they don't have Munchie Wright? Chloe, we'll start with you since you covered the game the other day.
Now, yeah, you're right. I did see them at the game the other day without Munchie. That is actually the first time I've seen them without Munchie that they've gotten the win. All the other times I've seen them without Munchie, they have crumbled and fun.
We cannot be serious. Chloe, I'm so sorry for cutting you off. Sam Salamone saying I'm sweeter than grandma's cookies. As sweet.
That's my boy.
That's our son.
That's our boy.
That's our boy right there.
Sam Salamone. So well. I you know what? I think Sam.
I think he needs a talking to, Ryan.
I think. Here's what I think. I think that Sam needs to go to Termini's, right? And for my South Philly people, you'll know. And Sam, he's sweeter than Termini's cupcakes.
Oh,
enough has been said.
Oh,
enough has been said.
I had cupcakes for my birthday.
Chloe, take it away.
Oh.
And now the games that Munchie was in, I got the chance to talk to Coach Carl after the game. He said Munchie, has not been right all season. So we haven't seen his full potential throughout the season. And they still managed to get plenty of those wins. He was still on the court. But I think that Carl says I have my quotes right here. He's looking for the next man up. I think if they get that, they're golden. They have him. They have Alassane. They have Deshaun Gates. They have Cody Colson. I think they can totally keep it going. If they can't, I'm not saying that they can't do it, but I think that it's going to be a little bit more challenging. Once they get their groove, they're totally going, and they can totally they're so scrappy and gritty that I think they can totally get through anyone. But if they can't do that in the game, then sometimes the game's over by the end of the first half.
That is 100% fair, and it seems like they're up and down without him. Dominic, we'll go to you next. How far can Newman go without Munchie?
I think Newman could still win it. Their depth of, it's not ridiculous to say that. Their depth of talent is insane. They've been here before. This is what Newman does. Newman and Roman are the two constants in PCL basketball. And we talked about it preseason, just how depth they were. I wouldn't put it past Cody Colson just dropping 30 in the Palestra. It would not shock me in the slightest. They have an actual big man, which is something that really can hold teams back. You saw that kind of with the prep last year, trying to deal with Everett Barnes. They have a big man that's going to prevent that from happening. They have guys who can get hot and shoot themselves in the games like Colson. And Usman Collins have been so good. I mean, like, to act. Munchie Wright's obviously an incredible talent, but him being out does not preclude them from still being at the top of the PCL, where Newman's always tended to be.
AJ.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to agree with what everyone else has said here. I mean, this is a program historically, winnings come very easy to them, fantastic coaching-wise, incredibly deep, and not too old of a team, didn't lose a ton last year, relatively similar squad, all things considered, and I think, we saw a pretty good show out of them the other day. I think if they play the way that they can, I think they could beat anyone still, like, even without him. It's just, I think the question is, like, are they going to, like, how integral is he to them playing their best brand of basketball, if you will? I think that would be what I would look for moving forward, but I think they absolutely have that ability. So I would say they would go probably almost just as far as they would with him fully in.
Oh God, I voice cracked terrible. That was really
that
bad.
high note.
That was
Sorry.
really good.
Purity's hard, dude. It's okay.
We all have those days.
We do.
Maybe that's every day. But anyway.
Dom has that like yearly.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man.
I know. It's okay. But nonetheless, I think I think I'm gonna kind of disagree with everybody here. I don't know. When Munchie Wright was on the floor, Newman was the best team. No doubt about it. And without Munchie Wright, they've dropped a couple of games. You saw it against Haverford. You saw it. You saw it against goodness, who did they lose to? Wood, sorry. And you saw it against Roman. Those are two of the top teams right there. Those are two teams that they're going to have to compete in the Palestra with. And I think with Munchie Wright, it's Palestra win. Without Munchie Wright, it's kind of just Palestra. And that's even a question mark when you take into consideration, can Carroll get hot again? Well, can Judge get hot again? I mean, they have a 14-point lead over Archbishop Ryan. That could lead to them starting to pick up the pace a little bit. I think that when you look at Newman Goretti, it's going to be tough for them to win without. Now, listen, I now kind of going back to Chloe's point, not saying that they can't do it, because I believe in Coach Carl Arragale, and what he can do. Obviously, obviously the best coach in PCL history. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And I think that he can put together a very solid game plan. He can outcoach anybody in the PCL. And I know AJ is going to say a different name.
You seem to have forgot of a certain JV basketball coach at the prep called Mr. Burns.
Oh my goodness, AJ! Oh my God, you're so right. I totally forgot he can't outcoach Riley Burns.
PCLSN.
I don't think he could. I think he would. I actually think the reason that Mr. Burns or Coach Burns is coaching JV right now is because he would coach everyone else off the floor.
Yeah, I actually recently, I recently heard that as well. PCLSN sources.
That's what people are saying. Like
that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying on the street.
Cases.
Yeah, many such cases.
That's what they're saying on the street. But we'll have to wait another day to see WSJP's best moderator. Oh, actually, I can't say best moderator. Tied for the best moderator. There's only two though. To coach varsity basketball. I think, any other final points before we move on?
I don't think so.
Keep it pushing.
All right. Well, we will keep it pushing as Dominic has stated, and we will keep it pushing on up to the Patriots of Archbishop Carroll. They have been one of the most interesting watches this season in the PCL, having some very great wins, going on a winning streak, but recently having some losses, one of them being to St. Joseph's Prep, which I don't think many were expecting, and then they have recently lost their game to Archbishop Wood, that just being on Sunday. So Archbishop Carroll, guys and girl, there's a lot going on up there in the red and white. I really don't know what else to call them.
Patriots, I guess.
Well, I think the problem with Archbishop Carroll is the fact that basketball games have to be played outside of Radnor, Pennsylvania. And when that occurs, they don't appear to want to play the sport. The team that Archbishop Carroll has been at home is not the same team that went to the prep and wasn't competitive in the second half. It's just an entirely separate basketball program. And to give them credit, even on the road, they're still better than what I expected them to be as a whole this year. I thought Carroll was going to be another very disappointing year, but Ian Williams has stayed healthy. This year, Rawls has been incredible. Yasir Turner's massive leap. Drew Corral again, though, like that is a really solid starting five. The problem is they better get used to playing outside Delco. Unfortunately, the Palestra is in the heart of the city, and if they want to make it there, I think there needs to be another level to their squad. Nick Mash, I'm sure, has many opinions on this, but we hear his opinions too much anyway.
Yeah, I'd like to add on to that, Dominic. I'm not going to buy into the Nick Mash propaganda machine.
Yeah, Big Mash has been poisoning our minds.
Yeah. Someone said Carol's sweet as pie. I don't think that's a terrible take. I don't know. Like, look, we mentioned those, you mentioned some guys, absolutely a talented basketball team. One thing as well that I would like to put in a question maybe, obviously playoff basketball is not regular season basketball. First and foremost, Carroll, if you look at their seating, it's not like they're going to get a guaranteed home game. It's not like they're going to really get a home game. So like you mentioned, Dominic, they're going to have to play outside of Radnor, Pennsylvania, which they haven't shown a keen ability to do. But also the depth of this basketball team. Playoff basketball, you're going full the entire time, right? There's no breaks. You're rolling.
They only played 6 at prep.
Yeah, can you have guys play 48 minutes of basketball and not like sort of fall off in quality somehow? Like maybe even if they come out strong in the first half, your guys are going to get tired if you can't go to your bench too much in these contested games. I think that's definitely like a huge weakness of theirs. Like especially if you look at teams that have more depth, like your Bonners and Woods and oh Lord, I'm right, like your Romans of the world. Like I don't know if you can compete with these teams.
I think also the fact that they're relying on essentially a 6-man rotation is especially bad for Legendo and Corral because they simply cannot take advantage of their size when they are so gassed out there and playing for so long. Like Corral had 5 inches on everybody on the prep. You would not know it from the way he played. He kept hunting at the perimeter, could not penetrate, did nothing in the post. And same thing with Legendo. I cannot name one thing he did in the second half against St. Joe's prep. They look entirely gassed out. And if you're gassing out against a middle-of-the-table team in the middle of the regular season, you add 5 more games after that, you're going against better competition. Who's going to promote this team into the upper echelon of the PCL? I don't know who. Are you going to you see Turner, who's not a senior yet? Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's tough because I think when you the comments are ridiculous. I will be responding in a few moments, so make sure you leave everything that you want to say because I will be responding. I will be responding after after Chloe's opinion. But
any truth to Eric White being a secret weapon for Carroll?
I think that
takes so long.
I think when you look at Archbishop Carroll at the current moment in time, they're a team that they definitely have not just won the easy games. I mean, they beat Bonner Prendy, they beat Father Judge, and they beat, Newman Goretti, who I think we still think is at the top. They got decimated by Roman at the beginning of the season. They lost to Ryan at the beginning of the season. And they lost to the prep, and they just lost to Wood. They're just such like the most, I don't want to say the most inconsistent team, but like, they're one of the most oddest teams to watch because you just don't know where they're at. Like,
if they're at home, they're better than if they're away.
Yeah, I guess that's the case. Like, I guess that's the case, AJ. I don't really know. As you said, when they're at home, it's interesting because I'm looking at the comments. I'm going away from the comments because I'm getting too distracted.
Put the comments on the screen for me to read.
I'm getting too distracted. I think that they're a very solid team all around. Like, stop it, AJ. I need to talk. Stop it. And of course, Anthony Sorgi now in the chat, just putting himself on the
Putting
screen.
himself in there.
And
Yeah.
what do you call it?
It's just
Jesus, let me
performing.
speak. Ian Williams there, Drew Corral there. Not similar. Damn it, Sorgi. They're not as similar to Wood because I think that obviously Lundy, McAdams, and Jenkins kind of better than what Carroll has, obviously based off the result we saw a couple days ago. But I mean, yeah, once they go to the Palestra, the core, even the seniors have never been to the Palestra before. It's just going to be so tough for them to go outside of Carroll, never being to the Palestra before. This is even saying they get there and winning the game. So that's going to be really, really tough. We saw it last year with the prep. And I mean, even winning, a second round game is going to be tough because of the fact that there are some really tough teams that can win on any given day. It depends on who's getting hot on what day. If they have to go away, I don't know. I think their ceiling is the Palestra, and probably go out after that. But we'll have to see. We will have to see. Chloe, you'll go, and then I will start responding. I'm actually going to look after respond to.
I mean, yeah, I agree with a lot of what's been said. I think that Carroll, is kind of a middle of the road team, and some of these teams that are going up against them might underestimate them a little bit, which could work in their favor. Going into it thinking it's going to be an easy game, and then they come out hot and they keep going. I think it's not unheard of. It's happened before. It's happened plenty of times, really. And I mean, like I said earlier, a regular season game isn't a game. It's a Palestra. They beat Bonner, they beat Judge, but that's not to say that, like, if they were to meet again, that Judge and Bonner could get those wins. And I agree with a lot of what's been said. I think they're on a hot streak personally. I think it's going to fizzle out real quick, but this is the PCL, and anything can happen. Who knows? They could wake up in the postseason and something could click and they could get the win. You never really know.
All right. So first one at 7:32. AJ, yeah.
Is it true you get tucked into bed?
No, this is just false.
Do you say here goes nothing when you do like something slightly risky?
Yeah. Can we get Scar TG on? She has better analysis.
No.
So you look at it dissolve like sugar.
Okay, Sorgi. You know what, Sorgi? We're gonna have a conversation after this.
How do we
Red
make it
shirt
something
thinks
pops up on the
life is
screen?
all
Can I get
sunshine
that
and
power?
rainbows. But you know what, KT? Just because things aren't going well over at Bonner Prendy and Haverford doesn't mean that we all can't be great. And happy. Flipping burgers.
Just
I just
acknowledge that West Catholic's going to the Palestra.
down so
You know what?
flipping burgers. This is just ridiculous. This is the most overused.
I'm giving myself the floor. I want to respond to what Dominic said there. I think West Catholic's a good basketball team. I think West Catholic's
so good, dude.
Legitimately very good basketball team. I think that there is a world where we see West Catholic Palestra basketball. Am I biased?
You're
because
going to start a dialogue that Yesai Rozier is a top 3 big.
This is a dialogue. Am I
in the
biased?
PCL.
Very close.
You're going to start that dialogue. I know you all saw his 16 and 16 performance,
Oh, I saw.
averaging. I'm not quite sure if it's double digits, but he's leading the PCL in boards.
Yeah. As not that tall of a guy either.
Many people were doubting, but you won't find one in the top or bottom right corner of this broadcast.
Absolutely not. You will not find one. I don't think you should find one anywhere. I mean, I think it's a legitimately good basketball team. I think they have the ability to. I mean, I think the Prep played a fantastic game against them. I was at the game with RTG, I believe. Right?
Yeah, we were there. This is now one thing I will say about West Catholic. Their gym is not too appealing.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Okay,
their
you're
gym's
right.
kind of like a dead zone, but I must admit, like Casey Wheeler is a fantastic basketball player. I will say that. I've been a fan of his.
Yes.
I think for a guy as big as he is, his feet, like his footwork, are incredibly impressive. Is incredible. I can't speak. Jesus Christ, is incredibly impressive. I think he could be a potential real matchup wrecker. I think the team, they're a gritty basketball team. You know, they work a lot, full court press. They very athletic, get out in transition very well, score a lot of cheap passes. I think they're a team that can really potentially, I could see them at the Palestra. Dominic, I love that take. This is a dialogue.
We're to West Catholic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Moving
speaking
on.
of which, Yesai Rozier are currently attending the Villanova Seton Hall basketball game tonight. Future Wildcat?
Well, thanks.
Hey, important news. It's important news.
I'm
Red
currently
shirt.
in my room.
Here we go. Hold on. Red shirt shakes salt on. Do people not eat salt on French fries? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Socks with sandals. Sometimes I actually do. That's not wrong. I feel like most people do that though. Maybe it's just a South Philly thing. Type of guy to get in the car and say, "Let's rock and roll." AJ can confirm that's not true.
Yeah, when he does get in my puke verana, which he does very often, he doesn't say that. I think I actually say that. I'm not gonna lie.
Red shirt makes me want to click off this pod. Nick Master Polito, you're not doing that and you know it. Type of guy to say easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's just not true. Ryan Sullivan, type of guy, I'm going to hit the hay when I go to sleep. No, I actually fall asleep looking at Drew Zimmerman photos. Yes, that's very true. Ryan Sullivan, type of guy to wake up to the smell of bacon. Bacon's actually my favorite breakfast food, so that's not necessarily the worst. Scarlett probably does a better analysis than anyone here. Ryan floats towards food. I'm like 125 pounds. That's just wrong to say. Ryan, the type of guy to say, "Don't if I do grabbing a snack." That is just completely ridiculous. RTG Mass on following. Nick Master Polito, I don't know. And Ryan, the type of guy to take a bubble bath.
Guy in the bottom right did not doze off.
Let's see. AJ, the type of guy to get mad at his ox cord in the car. Yes. Red shirt gets tucked in the bed. I don't want to hear it from Gardner today. Ryan, the type of guy to say, "Here goes nothing." After, you know what? I've said that like twice. Yes, we actually do need to start a GoFundMe.
Big news for everyone who's in the BG fanverse. That's slang for Buick Verana fanverse. I figured out the Bluetooth on my car.
There we go. Incredible. This is life-changing information.
It is.
To say G Mini, I actually do say G Mini a lot. So that is true. I am not on my school Chromebook. I'm on my Chromebook actually, so that's wrong. Type of guy to leave a review on Yelp. I don't think I've ever been on Yelp a day in my life. Type of guy to say we've got company when his high school bully shows up. Are there actually bullies at the prep? Like I feel like this high school bullies are like a myth now.
Nah, man.
I actually watched Andrew Zimmerman get shoved into a locker yesterday. So
okay, never mind. Nothing for Ryan. That just doesn't make sense. His footwork. What is his footwork? Are what? That's probably something familiar.
Be able to talk.
Don't worry, we are not following you, Ryan Gardner. You followed my personal account yesterday. Ryan, the type of guy to say, "Oh shucks," when something that actually I've heard like my grandfather say that. Buick Verana. No, I mean. If the miss what? Okay. Miss Sullivan tucks Ryan in the bed when I was like maybe 2 years old. Ryan is my bully. Cristiano, I literally complimented you on your photos like a week ago. Drew Z is an exception. Okay, that's just wrong to say. Moving on. We'll respond to more hate at the end of the game or at the end of the podcast. Moving on. Devon Prep. Big win over St. Joseph's Prep this past weekend. They are in the running for a playoff spot. Dominic, we will start with you. How high is Devon Prep's ceiling?
Devon Prep's ceiling is potentially stealing a play-in game. I think that's where it maxes out. If Devon were to beat any of the top six in the PCL, whoever that shakes out to be, whether it's Carroll, Judge, Prep at the end, I would be rather shocked. But to have them kind of sneak into the playoffs and probably steal a spot from, either LaSalle or Ryan, I think they're scrappy. They're a team that's greater than the sum of their parts.
Played the game the right way.
You heard it a lot discussed when they beat the Prep by such a large margin, how it's not like these guys are going to a high level. Even their generational team last year with Conlon and Kraft, those two guys are going D3. Like, it's not a high talent team, but they play so cohesively that I think they could go into someone else's gym and just take it over.
I would say, I know one of our analysts here can't answer this question, but Dominic Ryan, have you ever walked into Villiger Hall?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the height of the ceilings in Villiger Hall?
Yes.
You would describe them as pretty low down, would you?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think that they are a well-coached team. I think they play very good team basketball, but I think at the end of the day, and I hate to say this because this really goes against everything I believe in terms of basketball. There is so much star power in this league. I don't think they can really compete. Maybe they steal a playoff spot, like a play-in spot, potentially. But in terms of actually making any sort of noise of substance, I just don't see it happening. Like, maybe you steal a game. Maybe you can steal a game off a team like the Prep. You're not going into South Philly and beating Newman, right? Like, I don't see much happening there. Like, maybe you upset a team who's 2 spots higher than you seeding-wise, but I don't see anything there furthermore. Just because they don't have – I mean, they lost so many players last year. They just don't have star power, I don't think.
Chloe, I feel bad. We haven't heard from you in a minute. You can go next.
I'd have to agree. I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't think much is happening there at all. Like AJ said, a well-coached team, but really this is one of the most competitive leagues, if not the most in the state. It's recognized across the country. I don't think there's a lot to be said about this team. I don't think they're going anywhere.
So I think I definitely agree. So I think the real question would just be now were people around the area just looking too deep into their win against St. Joe's Prep?
I think possibly. I think it's the same as, like, could you look too deeply into O'Hara's win against help me out, Wood?
Yeah.
Like, it was a nice win. It was a great win. The Prep's also not favorites to win the Palestra, right? Like, it was a solid win against a solid team, but that happens in basketball, right? Like, you upset.
It's the PCL.
Minorly. It's the PCL. I mean, I think it could have been looked into a little bit, but I also don't think in terms of looking at the teams, is there that much difference between, I don't know, a 7 and a 10? Like, probably not.
That's fair. Dominic?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, however, they are getting both Roman and Bonner at home, but what it would take to continue this hot streak is if they continue their hot streak and win one of these games against Roman or Bonner, I'd probably favor them in whatever play-in matchup they wind up in. I just don't think this late season burst of energy, I don't think this late season burst is going to be enough to propel them to a win over Roman or Bonner. And if they lose out, I mean, I'm pretty sure they'd be eliminated by default unless Ryan or LaSalle was also to lose out, which is probably unlikely. The point being, if they make it to the playoffs, I like them in their first round matchup, but I doubt they do.
KT has been muted for his recent comment, so no worries there.
Okay.
But nonetheless, what
What do you say?
Don't worry about it. I'll tell you later. But nonetheless, I think that
some stuffed animals.
I think that not about that. I think
that one too.
It was not about that one, but nonetheless, I think that I think we kind of were looking a little too much into Devon's win over the Prep. They were without Julian McKee. It was just kind of tough for them. It's tough. It's tough for them because like they got a big win over the Prep without Julian McKee. And then they just like did nothing after that. They're not really able to build off of it. Now they have the schedule of doom in their final 2 games. And I don't really know if they're going to win that. I'm not predicting them to win that at all. I think we kind of were looking too much into it. If they can get a win over, Bonner or Roman, as Dominic said, I think I'd predict them in a playoff game. But yeah, I'm not.
I would like to mention one of our commenters here did bring up how Devon was playing. Yeah, they played very well against Wood when they met. I'll give some credit there. I did skip over that. So I think they do potentially have maybe some ability. I did forget about that game, but then again, though, it's like that's a single game. That's a regular season game.
I mean, you're looking at their most recent stretch. They got one out against Egan, 5-point loss to Wood, and then back-to-back wins against Prep and West. But also, I think there's a bit of a dampening factor on those two that you have to acknowledge.
Yeah, that's fair. Chloe?
Yeah, I think that I agree. I agree with everything that's being said. I think that I don't expect much at all out of this team, frankly.
That is fair. Okay, moving on to our next topic. A lot of things going on. We've talked about pretty much all the storylines, and we talked about Wood, Newman, Carroll, Devin. I think those are probably the biggest storylines coming out of the weekend. But let's look a bit ahead, guys and girl. What is the biggest storyline heading into the weekend? Chloe, we'll start with you.
I think Bonner Prendy has the best storyline. I mean, looking at it, they haven't been to the Palestra since 2018. They haven't gotten the win since 1988. You have Corey Francis, Cam Jackson, Jakeem Carroll. You have all coming in the same time as their head coach, Billy Cassidy, and the team fully transformed when they came. I think that it's a great story. And, you also have new transfer this year, Deshaun Holden, who's been doing amazing on the floor. They're hot. They're gritty. Once they get their groove, they're kind of unstoppable on the floor. And I think that it's such a fun team to watch. And I think that I see them definitely at the Palestra this year. Are they going to win it? We'll see. If not this year, I think next year they totally have it. And I think it's a great story.
I think going into the weekend, the biggest storyline is, can Roman get people's confidence back? I think that's the biggest storyline because you look at Roman Catholic and they've had some problems. They just lost to Bonner. They lost to Wood. Those are the two top teams. I don't think anybody would disagree. They beat Newman Goretti, but it was without Munchie Wright. So how many people are really looking at that as a great win? And, with this recent pretty bad loss to Bonner where their defense looked not that great, you got to be able to build people's confidence in very big wins. I'm talking blowouts against Devin and LaSalle. That's the only way I'm going to pick Roman to go to the finals at the Palestra, is if they can just completely blow Devin and LaSalle out of the water and really just make them look like the team to beat. Make them look like an unstoppable force. That's the only way I can see them getting to the Palestras. If they can blow those teams out, it'll get their confidence back. Sammy Jackson has experience in big games. RJ Smith, same thing from him. And I think that's the biggest storyline. I mean, look at Roman. They got 3 big transfers coming into the season. Bryce Presley, RJ Smith, and Bay Moore. They were big transfers. And, now they're supposed to be the top team. Well, they've lost to who now we think are the 2 best teams. So I think that's the biggest storyline heading into the weekend. Dom?
I just wanted to comment on what you were going to say about Roman. I think they need to kill Devin. Yeah. Specifically Devin. Devin has obviously the rising momentum we're talking about, and then Roman is just been shaky almost the whole year. I think that it is the perfect setup for a get-it-right game to just go into Devin and just murder them. But if they can't do that, I don't know how you could honestly predict them to go any further than the semis. If I were to give I don't know if there's specific storyline, but I think what I would look out for is Judge, the other team that's been consistently faltering. I really want to see how they handle this upcoming game Friday against the Prep and then obviously their final game. I want to see domineering performances from Judge in the same vein, which you're hoping to see from Roman. They have the talent. They have the returning guys from their Palestra winning squad last season. And right now they're putting a good whooping on Archbishop Ryan. Yeah. So if they continue that, that's a team I still think Judge can win the PCL. I still wholeheartedly believe that they can do it, even though they've slipped a bit in the regular season. But they need to prove that to me. I want to see a great close from Judge, and they should not lose to the Prep on Friday, although I certainly hope they do.
Indeed. And as Sorgi's put in the chat, Father Judge winning 53-37 over Archbishop Ryan. And as Dom said, they'll play the Prep on Friday. AJ, biggest storyline heading into the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I got I'm going last here, so I gotta think a little bit. I'll react first to Dominic's point, though. I've been a little bit surprised by Judge so far this year. I mean, there's no easy games in the PCL, and I almost feel that every single game you play, 1 through however many teams, is it 13? I don't know, it doesn't matter. every game's a game, right? In this league, there's no free ones, and it's such a competitive league at the top. But I am a little bit surprised with how Judge has done this year. Still, I definitely think they have the ability to be, a Plester team, maybe even win it, like Dominic said. But not to completely steal his point, but I think that's going to be needed. If you're coming from the perspective of a Judge fan, I think you need to see them go out and beat up the Prep pretty bad on Friday. In terms of storylines, well, I think we talked about this earlier, Ryan, but I think just Newman, there's a little bit of a question mark around them now. I think, I'm just going to be interested in seeing how that's going to go.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And, I think there's arguments to be made for all of them. But we've talked a lot about the top, and we talked a little bit about Devin. Well, let's talk about the middle a little bit. And as Sorgi just put it up on the screen so kindly for us.
Yeah, Sorgi.
I would say Sorgi, best producer outside of myself when it comes to WSJP broadcasts. But nonetheless.
How egotistical.
Does he not? Why is this guy in the chat not like my Stephen Durkis profile pic?
Who doesn't? Wait, who does not?
Who's the guy in the chat?
Big Gardner's got something.
Gardner. Okay.
Eliminate him.
Get rid of him, Sorgi.
Odd ban him.
That's Sorgi and me, but nonetheless. Now, guys, let's get back on to track here. The middle. I would say the middle is Devin, LaSalle, Archbishop Ryan, the Prep, and West Catholic. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. All teams fighting for a playoff spot, fighting for the play-in spot. Who do you think has the biggest or the best chance, I guess I should say, to go farther in the playoffs? So they go farthest in the playoffs. Devin, LaSalle, Ryan,
West.
We'll get into your guys' reason in a second. I would say that St. Joe's Prep has the biggest chance to go into the farthest in the playoffs, and I'm going to give you my reason why. You looked at what just happened with Will Lesovitz the other day against LaSalle, draining three after three. He dominated. That is Will's best part of his game. Over the course of the season, his 3-point percentage is, I don't think, what we expected, right? But after that game, if he can just keep that going forward, we're looking in the future here, and I think that he can do so. With Julian McKee heading back, who's the best player out of all of these teams as best players? I'm going to say that's Julian McKee, right? So
Kingston Wheatley is playing basketball in the Catholic League.
I'm not done, Dominic.
This is true.
Come on,
this is true.
I didn't interrupt you, Dominic. But anyway, and you have supporting players like Miles Peterson, like Jaden Hallett, like Luke Moran.
Put Cristiano's comment on the screen.
You know what Hallett brings to the table? His defense. I agree with Cristiano there. We know what Miles Peterson can do. His gritty defense and his ability to get loose balls the other day was great. And then Luke Baranski, some of the best handles in the PCL, maybe outside of RJ Smith, you could argue. And he can get hot at any time. We saw him do it against Conwell Egan, where he was, or not, it wasn't Egan, it was another team. I forget where he hit like 3 threes in the second half, and it brought them to victory. I can't remember off the top of my head. It wasn't Egan, it was one of the other games. Yeah. But anyway, you know what all those guys bring to the table. And obviously we saw the Prep lose to Devin. That was tough. But then they have Julian McKay. And I think that's something to look at there. Devin obviously not getting any momentum after that win. West Catholic, a very solid team. The Prep beat them, though, earlier in the season. I understand that was without Eric Scott, but you've seen West Catholic falter since then. Archbishop Ryan, solid. I don't think that they match up well against the Prep in terms of depth and size and whatnot. And we just saw the Prep dominate LaSalle just this past Monday. So, Chloe, we'll go next with you. Who do you think has the best chance of getting the farthest in the playoffs out of these teams?
I totally agree. I think the Prep makes a case for themselves to, make a good playoff run. I totally agree. I think, Julian McKee, Justin McKee, Will Lesovitz, I think they have a lot of, manpower. And I think that when they do get going like they did against LaSalle, like they did against some of these teams, I think they totally make a case for themselves. Coach Clark, brand new coach this year, I think he's been doing a great job. And I think that I agree that I don't think that Ryan measures up. I think Joe Zaglinski is a very strong coach, but I don't know if they necessarily have the talent on that team to execute things as much as they, could. LaSalle, I think LaSalle's solid. I mean, the prep game, that was a rough one. The Lansdale Catholic loss, that was rough too. And yeah, but I agree that I think prep makes a case for themselves.
Dominic, AJ, you just said West Catholic. Give me your reasons why.
West.
Well, I was going to say, I think there's a clear separation between Ryan, Devin, LaSalle, and then Prep and West. I think both are kind of a tier above. I could see Prep or West in the Palestra. I really could not see the bottom three. But I want to highlight 2 points. I want to highlight 2 points about West that really compel me and worry me. They are coming up on a tough 2-game streak to end the year. At Carroll, at Judge. If they win either of those games, that goes such a long way in convincing me. If they go 0-2, I may very well switch my answer to the Prep. But I think they are going to come away with the win in one of those games. Although, as Sorgi mentioned earlier, it's going to depend on the status of Kingston Wheatley. But the kind of the big duo down low with Rozier and Wheatley, I mean, more so kind of wings. I mean, that's not like that. But still, the kind of the smaller big men. And then additionally, adding in Ortiz Muhammad on the outside. I think he's been very well. Coach Lewis, obviously, it's his first year as head coach at West after kind of the program had a lot of restructuring. But I think what he's put together has been really solid. You see Farlow has been a really nice guard for them as well. But what I think you have to consider is that although West doesn't have that signature win, which I believe they're going to get, they have not been together as a collective this whole time. Kingston Wheatley's dealt with some stuff. Xavier Fauntroy hasn't been starting for all of the PCL play. And I just think once they really get together as a cohesive unit at the end of season, get that big win, they're going to be primed for a final run. And also the Prep, I think it depends on how much rust Julian McKee has to shake off after missing 2 games, but assuming he comes back and is firing on all cylinders by the time they play Ryan on Super Bowl Sunday, that is a veritable playoff team that anyone in the PCL is going to have their hands full with.
Fair enough. AJ, what's your reason? Is it just West?
Well, Dominic, I think, really covered a lot of my reasons. I'm a big West fan. I was especially before the trends. I remember sitting talking to Mr. Burns in one of our amazing WSJP meetings just before all this Hawkwire nonsense.
Whoa!
Game's gone.
I was forced to write a newspaper article the other day. Well,
I literally wrote it for you.
Okay, well, I put my name on it.
All right, fair enough.
But Dominic took most of my points about it was terrible, facts.
Or you just plain bias and as a mod.
Yeah, me too. But I'll talk about the Prep a little bit. I think I like what Dominic said about. I think the Prep and West are definitely in a tier above. I think of those 3 teams, Devon's probably the most likely to steal a win off of either of them. But I would definitely consider the Prep and West, in their own sort of section, so to speak. I think Julian McKee coming back is definitely going to be critical in terms of how easily integrated he is back into the system. Will Lesfitt's ability to create his own shot, I think, is going to be huge. We've already talked about that earlier with how the offense, the dynamic completely changes when he's able to score the basketball himself. So I'm really torn, honestly, between the two of them. I just wanted to say West a lot because, it's one of my vocal stems, I guess, so to speak. But I'm not sure between those two, really, Ryan. I think the win for the Prep against West at West definitely shows me a little bit for them, but I don't know. Honestly, I wish I had a very concise answer.
Well, nonetheless, maybe AJ will get an answer after this Friday. And on Friday, we have one of the more, I guess I would say, inconsistent teams, currently up by 13 over Archbishop Ryan. Father Judge leads with 6:24 remaining, but looking towards the future with the Crusaders of Father Judge. Obviously, we've talked about the Palestra so much during this podcast. AJ, I'll start with you here. And I think you did say it earlier. You think Father Judge could make it to the Palestra, and you think they could possibly win it. Why do you think so?
Well, Ryan, first and foremost, I think 7 different teams could make it to the Palestra.
That's fair.
I mean, if you look at Judge losses, I mean, a loss to Wood, a close one, I would definitely consider Wood the better basketball team. You know, beat up on Lansdale, 1 point loss to Bonner Prendy at Bonner Prendy, I might add. Also, the other top dog that we've, kind of come up with. Absolutely smoke show against Devon. That was 80-39. A pretty close one against LaSalle. But what I'm really trying to get into here is the losses besides Carroll have been losses to the other top teams, right? So I think that there's very little between a lot of the top dogs in this league. And a lot of it's going to come down to really just like, I don't know. I feel like I can't stress enough how important it's going to be or how pivotal rather. Like if one of your guys comes out hot, like, I mean, that could really be the difference maker. Like if you're Judge and Rocco Westfield bangs 5 threes, I mean, like that's a completely different ballgame compared to if
you're in the Palestra and Rocco Westfield bangs.
We saw that
threes
last year against the Prep. I mean, if he didn't shoot the basketball as well as he did, I mean, to be fair, he was coming off double screens completely unmarked at the top of the key, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
I think that changes the basketball game completely. So it's going to have to do with Judge's ability to get hot. Can they out-athlete teams? I'm not sure. That was something that we definitely saw them do a little bit of last year. But I think they absolutely can. It's just going to come down to who's really connecting that night.
Fair enough. Chloe, we'll go to you next. Father Judge, do you think that they make it to the Palestra?
I totally agree. I think that they totally have an opportunity to. I was at that Bonner game when Cam Jackson had the 3-point free throw to not only tie the game, but win the game in the final, half second? And then the week after, I was at the Roman game where Rocco Westfield's 3-point shot won them the game. I think that they totally, if they get hot, if they, figure out what they need to figure out, I think they totally can do it. I think if we look at the regular season last year, they weren't the top of the top. They got their momentum going and they took it and they won the whole thing. So I think that, it's crunch time and they need to figure something out, but I think they totally could.
Fair enough. And I think Father Judge will make it to the Palestra. I think when you're looking at Derek Morton Rivera, somebody that has playoff experience, he's obviously the best player on that team. He can do everything. He can get to the rim. He can shoot the 3-ball. Also has a pretty solid jump shot. Max Majinski as well. A great forward, leads him in transition, gets him to the rim. Jeremiah Adedeji is one of my more favorite role players in the PCL. He can really do a lot of things. I mean, he can take the ball to the rim at will, and he can score under the basket. And then Rocco Westfield, who can get hot at any time, shooting threes. We saw his playoff performances last year. And we know he hit a big 3 in the Palestra to help come back against Roman Catholic. So I think when you're looking at Father Judge, they have all the pieces. They have experience. They have guys that have been there before. They have guys that have won it before, that being a state and a PCL championship. I don't see a reason that they don't get to the Palestra. Dominic Schulk, does Father Judge get to the Palestra?
I believe it. I think, quite frankly, I'm just going to put it this way. They have, I'd say, I mean, obviously you can't project too far in the future, but I'd say they have 4 D1 level players on their roster at minimum. They're bringing back multiple very high level players from their Palestra winning team. They have Rocco, they have Mishinsky, who's taken such an incredible leap. Nas Tyler. I just think, and Derek Morton Rivera, obviously the main star. But for them to not make the Palestra, I mean, the way heading into the season everyone saw it is that it was a Roman Newman Judge Wood league. And although Wood's been the team that's really started to run away, I think that you need to remember preseason expectations and who the program is. This Judge team is too talented to not make the Palestra. If they do not, it is a disappointment. They need to win They need to close the season strong, and they need to, at minimum, make the Palestra. Really should be in the final because Newman's hampered with the lack of Munchie. I still think they could do well, but Newman's hampered. Roman has not inspired any confidence, really. They should be in the final, borderline minimum. But, I mean, I'm sure that's lofty expectations in such a competitive league. Yes. The question right now on screen is there any chance? I think it should be expected, and they have to do it.
All right.
I just wanted to make one comment. Maybe a question. You know what, Red Shirt? I'm going to ask a question here.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm flipping the
Red
screen.
Shirt.
Take control like that?
Yeah. I just assume it,
You know what? I don't appreciate this, but I'll let you ask one anyway.
Yeah. We're talking a lot about teams like this team should make the Palestra, that team should make the Palestra. We have to remember how limited it is to make the Palestra, right? Like we're talking about we've said seven teams should make the Palestra on this podcast. There's 4 of them.
Well, AJ,
my point.
we're actually gonna leave. You just led into my point.
I might be the greatest sports person of all time.
Sorgi, go to the last set. Go to the last topic. We're gonna
do your job.
Go to the last topic, Sorgi. Or do I have to do it?
I don't know.
Maybe come down there.
I did it anyway.
Bang.
Who is going to the Palestra, and who are your championship picks? AJ, because you brought it up, we're starting with you, big man.
All right. I have to give me a quarter of a second to construct what I'm looking at here. I got to think about this.
All right.
I think I'm going to have Wood and Bonner in there as my 2. I think Bonner both these teams, obviously, we've mentioned so many times, are a front runner. Bonner's guard play is just impossible to beat.
All right. And who were the other 2 teams there?
The other teams with them. I think it depends on how it all shakes out, But who do I think is the team? I would argue that. So we've said 7 teams should make it. I think West in the prep would be. Oh, we got to change the lighting there for a moment. Off. Might want to check on that. I think the prep and West, as we said, can make it. I don't know if they're expected to. So really, we're down to 5 now. And I think of the 5, I think I see the Kaolites being the ones not to make it. I think. I don't know. I could be absolutely wrong. This could blow up in my face, but I think my Palestra is going to be Bonner, Wood, Judge, and Newman.
Bonner, Wood, Judge, Newman. All right. Dominic Schultz, who's going to the Palestra and who's winning it?
Obviously, I think it depends on how the bracket shakes out. I think you have to lock Wood in there. They're 10-1. They've beaten everyone but the flukiest game of all time at O'Hara. I think Bonner has solidified themselves as the second best program. I do not believe Lansdale Catholic is winning the chip. Bonner, I think Wood, Bonner, and then that's where it gets tough. I think Judge has to do it. That is the program. That's the caliber that Judge is. So I think Wood, Bonner, Judge. Then you got to eliminate some teams. I don't think the prep has enough independence. I don't think they have that it factor. They are not a team. They are playing at a talent deficit, and they do not have the explosive offensive capability that you need to produce a good upset.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, unless they just are not that team. They are not that crazy shooting team that's going to pour in buckets or suffocate you with defense while responding with their own offense. They can certainly suffocate you with defense, but the problem is they still won't score their own baskets. And so I'd knock Prep out of the equation. I would knock Carroll out of the equation because I don't believe they're going to have seeding to where they'd have a home playoff game. No, I'm not even trying to be silly about that, but going on the road against against whatever great team they play, I don't think they can win that. So that leaves your final Palestra spot to Roman, Newman, and West. And that's a hard choice to make. I think it depends on how the matchups work. I think I'm inclined to give it to Newman. Roman is not inspiring confidence in me, and I think West is entirely dependent on what first-round matchup they get. I believe if they get a favorable first-round matchup, they could totally make something happen. I wouldn't find it ridiculous at all, but right now, just in a vacuum, I believe that Newman's experience will win out, and just their depth of talent will make them stand out. I think it also really depends on, so much of my opinion on this final part is going to depend on the final day of the year when West plays Judge. I think the winner of that game is a team I'll be much more confident in head to Palestra. For now, Newman gets my 4th spot.
All righty. Chloe, Conwell, Palestra picks, champion. Who we got?
Yeah, Dom Schulk. I don't think I could have broken it down better myself. I think that Bonner, definite spot. Wood, definite spot. I think Judge, I think if they get it together and they get it going, they're totally going to be there. When it comes to, I rule out the Prep and West easily pretty early on. When it comes to Roman and Newman, frankly, with the Roman games that I've seen, which is not that many, but with the ones that I've been at and the ones that I've seen, I haven't been blown away by their program. I think that, Sammy Jackson, amazing. RJ Smith, just at 1,000 points. He makes a case for himself. But I think that overall on the court, they haven't been doing it for me. And I think that Newman is such a tried and true team. I think they have that high caliber. They have Carl Arregill. They have, such a strong starting 5 and a bench rotation going for them that I think they totally take that 4 spot. When it comes to championship, I think it's going to be Wood Bonner. Now, is Wood such a strong team? And, totally, I think either one could totally take it. I don't think it's the PCL without a crazy end of the game situation going on. I wouldn't be surprised if Bonner took the win, honestly.
All right. I am going with, as of now, I'm just going to state the right that this is subject to change before the playoffs, before I make my bracket. I'm going to go with Wood over Judge. And I'm going to say Bonner and Roman also get to the Palestra as well. And that's going to be my pick. That's going to be my Palestra picks.
Is there a little bit of South Philly vendetta in there?
No, never. I would never have anything against South Philly and Newman Goretti. I've never had anything against them.
Interesting. That's what they all say.
Never at all.
That's what they all say.
That's what they all say.
Yeah, I have nothing against.
You know what, AJ? I'm not like all. I'm one
Dominic
of one.
Hibnero has convinced me to have a lifelong hatred of South Philly.
What?
You know what, Dominic Scholl? That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's all right. AJ, you a hatred of South Philly?
I would die with a crab fry in my hand.
Oh my God! You know what? PCLSN Chickies and Pete's run while Dom Camp is working. I don't see a better thing that we should do on our Wednesday night.
That might be the best idea I've ever heard.
I know, Chloe.
Ryan, why are we talking about peak?
I think we should have all 30,000 people in this group chat.
Yes, Chloe, are you in?
Oh, I'm in.
Chloe's in, and we just got to bring along like
As long as Nick Mash isn't allowed.
When's
Yes,
the
gotta bring,
PCLSN
like-
cookout?
I have a strict no Nick Mash policy.
who makes
Nick Mash quit.
Who do you think would? You know what? Who do you think would fry the best crab fry in PCLSN? This is a great question.
Me.
I'm gonna, dude. I gotta go with Gardner. I gotta go with Gardner. He just looks like that type of cook guy. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know who that is. I'm not gonna lie.
Can I ask you a question, Ryan?
Yeah.
Is Colin Ireland the truth? Because someone in chat has been asking about him for probably 10 times.
An hour.
I'm not gonna lie.
Colin Ireland, PCL MVP.
I love Ireland.
I don't know if he'd even get betting odds.
Up the raw. Hold on. Since we were called PCL Sportsbook, can we do a
PCL
ring,
Sportsbook
so to
betting
speak?
line?
Unfortunately for us, AJ, this is not allowed. As a Catholic organization, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
The Pope doesn't play blackjack?
No, Dominic. Unfortunately for you, not. We have a highlighted chat. AJ, would you like to respond
Which one? There's a lot.
to the one that was just commented about you?
I think there was
Oh,
two.
Nicholas Mastropolito's chatting you.
Yeah.
I
let me
wouldn't
look.
take that. I
Let me
wouldn't
look.
take that.
Oh,
Let me look.
the one that says gotta be AJ. Would you like to
Oh,
respond?
yeah, I'd agree. I think I would fry up the best crab fry.
Mm.
All right, fair enough. Chloe, who do you think would fry the best crab
Especially because
fry?
of my relation to Pete. So
I don't know. I really don't. I think
this is the thanks I get. Sorry, Nick Mash. I'm just kidding. I can exempt you from my Nick Mashless policy if it makes you feel better.
I'm mashing it.
Guys, don't. Chloe's talking about who would fry the best crab fry.
The answer's me.
I think that I'm going to have to hand it to our producer, Anthony Sorgi. I think he is attentive. He is going to watch it. He is going to watch it, and he is going to make sure that thing is perfectly cooked.
Oh, hell no. A guy from Ridley trying to fry a crab fry?
His thing is pretzel.
Delco cannot produce a good cook.
We can't be
That's what I
serious.
said.
He's from Wisconsin. He's pretzels and cheese curds. He's not.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we all know, like, Sorgi
Nick Mash Loki built like a
We
cheese
all,
curd.
Sorgi actually said that on the last day of school, he's going to bring a block of cheese for everyone in WSJP. This is what I've heard. But anyway,
Would you bring that block of cheese to the PCLSN pre-Palestra brunch?
you know what? You know what, Dominic? I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Tailgating.
I'm just going to run up that bill, and Sorgi's paying.
I heard on the streets
AJ, are
that-
you coming to the PCLSN brunch?
I know AJ is going to be there like his life depended on it. And then we're going to church after. And me and Pat Burkhead are going to get onto the stage, onto the altar, and we are going to sing our lungs out.
Oh, I would love to not be there for that part, but brunch would be lovely.
Brunch on your
think we
guys'
should-
dime? I'll do that.
I think we should have a PCLSN Mike Liv paying. I agree. I think we should
I
have a
agree with that.
PCLSN tailgate. I think that'd be a good idea.
I think. What if we all just did like
PCLSN tailgate for Ryan Judge football. Loser gets disbanded.
I feel like we should do it for for a Wood and Bonner lacrosse game. I feel like we should have that. I feel like that would just be like.
I think we should have it for hockey senior night.
I think that as well. Unfortunately, I will not be there.
Can we get a PCL for hockey? This APAC stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. Well, to be fair, like it's kind of just the prep LaSalle and Devon, unfortunately.
Yeah, basically. And
But Father Judge.
Catholic hockey. Can we get some respect?
Wait, does Carroll have a hockey team? Does Bonner have a hockey team? I know Roman has one.
Yeah, they're like not very good though, like at all.
It's okay. You know what? We move.
Roman and Judge allegedly have hockey programs, and that's it.
Fair enough. All right.
They're actually urban legends.
As we've gotten completely off topic, final subject of the day:
More
predictions.
I don't even know who plays this weekend.
Well, you know what, AJ?
Read it.
That's why you got an incredible host like yourself, Ryan Sullivan. It's gonna be rapid fire. You better say it on impact. First game, Friday, February 6th. LaSalle, Archbishop Wood. AJ, you're starting us off.
Wood by 30,000.
Dom.
Wood on my soul.
Chloe.
Archbishop Wood.
I'm going with Wood as well. Archbishop Ryan versus Lansdale Catholic. AJ.
Ryan, bias.
Dominic.
I didn't even hear the team.
Ryan and Lansdale.
Ryan.
Chloe.
Easily Ryan.
I'm going with Ryan as well. I think you get the order by now. Bonner, Prendy, and Cardinal O'Hara.
Bonner.
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 I'm going with Bonner as well. Newman Goretti and Conwell Egan.
Newman.
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 No Egan love.
I'm going with Newman as well. Roman Catholic, Devon Prep.
Roman.
Wish casting. Devon.
Roman.
I'm going with Roman Catholic, St. Joe's Prep, and Father Judge.
I'm also wish casting. St. Joe's Prep.
I already did my wish cast. Judge.
I'll take Father Judge.
I'm going to go with Father Judge as well. West Catholic, Archbishop Carroll.
West.
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 All right, well, I guess I can't use my wish cast on this, but I'm going to go with Archbishop Carroll then. Sunday, February 8th, to round out the PCL season. We're almost done, people. Archbishop Carroll, Cardinal O'Hara.
Carroll.
Carroll.
I'm going to go with Carroll. Archbishop Ryan, St. Joseph's Prep.
Prep. Senior night. Don't think they're going to lose
Prep.
that game.
Prep.
I'm going with the Prep. Bonner, Prendy, Devon Prep.
Bonner.
Bonner.
Hardly know her.
I'm going to go with Bonner. Father Judge, West Catholic.
Hold
Gotta
on.
think about this, boys.
It's at Judge, to be fair.
Hold on now.
Actually, no, it's at home. It's at with West Catholic. At West Catholic.
Wait, what? What?
It's in the dead
You're pulling
zone.
my leg. You're pulling my leg.
Father Judge also just got a win over Archbishop Ryan, 74-64.
Hold on now.
Oh, Max
Okay,
Prep's lied
Judge.
to me.
I'm going to go Judge overtime win. You know what?
Okay.
Judge double overtime
Ooh,
win.
double overtime win.
You heard
That
that.
one.
It's at West. Oh, I was totally wrong when it. Why did it say it was at both of them?
Brick.
Oh, wait, yeah, it is at. Yeah, it's at West.
Yeah, I know. Max Preps just lies. Anyway, as I was gonna say, makes me especially more confident in my pick of West over Carroll. But can West get both? Why not? Why not? Give me the Burrs. Give me the Burrs.
Slowly.
I changed my pick. I agree.
Oh my God.
Oh, I can't do that.
You can't do that. Mod
Oh, my
Payton.
bad. My bad, guys. That's AI generated. Gemini's getting crazy.
Gemini's
these days.
getting crazy nowadays.
Judge is going to take it. They're pulling away in the last, like,
Oh.
4 or 5 minutes.
All right, fair
Chloe,
enough.
stop being realistic.
Archbishop Boyd, Conwell, Egan.
I would love to say Egan, but I just can't.
Yeah, bro.
Like I would
Coach-
love nothing
Coach
more
Tate.
than some Egan appreciation, but I can't. Nah. Give me Wood by like a lot.
Dominic.
What?
Wood.
Yeah, Wood is going to win that game. Final 2 games, Roman Catholic, LaSalle College High School.
I think Roman's gonna smack them around like a lot. Like I see like a 30-point Roman win.
Roman. I want Roman to win by as much as possible.
Same.
Fair
I'll
enough.
take Roman.
I am going to take Roman by a wide margin. Final game of the PCL season, Lansdale Catholic and the Saints of Newman Goretti.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Saints here.
Oh, no LC? Anyway, I'm
No.
going Newman too.
Newman.
Here's Ryan's bias again.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with Newman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anything else anybody has to say before we hop
Yeah.
off?
Christian asked for Super Bowl predictions. I'm gonna give mine. No one asked. I don't know if I've hated. That's not true. I hate a lot of sports teams. I don't like the Patriots. You know, we've been growing up, and the Patriots have always been really good, and I've hated it. I loved the Seahawks when I was younger because their defense was fun. They hit people really hard. So I'm still carrying a lot of that bias with me now. So I'm wish casting the Seahawks to beat up the Patriots in the matchup on Sunday.
Dominic, what do you think?
I like the Patriots.
You're
Love
such
Drake
a
May.
weirdo. You're from
What's
here.
wrong with you?
Like
Drake May, man. He's
Like-
so
Throw him into the depths of FDR Park right now.
Like the sports
That's
team
a
that you
sentence
were
worth
born
saying.
into. It is a born into thing. You do not choose.
Okay, bro. But anyway, I'm still picking the Seahawks. They're a wagon, dude. They are a wagon.
Yeah, I'm going with Seahawks as well.
Let's go, good guys.
Seahawks.
All right, sweet. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for the latest edition of the PCL Sports Network podcast. I am Ryan the Great Sullivan. co-president of WSJP, the voice of St. Joseph's Prep baseball and lacrosse. That is AJ Farrington, who did not like my new middle name that I've not given myself. It was actually given to me when I was younger for everybody's information. But this was a fire podcast. Thank you. Round of applause.
Great job, team.
That is AJ Farrington.
Okay, so no. So you get all the fun names and all the cool stuff, and I'm just AJ Farrington.
No. Okay, AJ Buick-Ferrano Farrington. That's what we're gonna go with.
All right, I appreciate that.
I also forgot to mention that I am the voice of St. Joe's Prep Hockey as well, but nonetheless.
So am I.
Well, yeah, you're my couple. You're the color guy.
Yeah.
So you're like the
I had a
second.
little they say variety is the spice of life.
You didn't want to do play-by-play on Friday.
Because it's so fast.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, AJ the Man Farrington. I like that one better.
Dang.
The St. Joseph's Prep Rugby's finest. That is Dominic Ball and Whistle Shulk, the co-president of another co-president of WSJP, as well as the voice of St. Joe's Prep football and basketball. Make sure to follow him on Instagram. Check out some fine graphics. And last but not least, well, technically, who is least? We're just going to go with last is Chloe Conwell, the owner of Chloe Conwell Media, probably the only media person out of Mount St. Joe's Academy, but that is fine, I guess. Anyway, that will do it for the latest edition of the PCL Sports Network podcast. We will see you next week.